Hey everyone, this is Jill Hope from I Find Wealth, and I've got another brand new episode in our Thrive on Thursday series. If you're new to my channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I have a new video out. Also, if you like this video, please like it, please share it. It really does help me to get this message out to people who need it. All right, so in today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is a subject that I wrestled with for a long time. And I'm constantly working on up-leveling in this area, but trust me, it's been a struggle. And it's this idea of how to show up powerfully with your message. How to show up powerfully with your message. And today I want to share 5 ways that you can show up powerfully with your message. And all of these things I'm sharing with you, I had to learn these the hard way. And one of the things I realize is, I've had coaches tell me some of these things, but until you actually walk the path where you're actually putting yourself out there and you're making the mistakes and you're seeing where the pitfalls are for you personally, that's the best way to really get this stuff in your body, to really embody these 5 things that I'm going to share with you today. So right off the bat, and this is not one of the 5 things, but in order to powerfully share your message, you've actually got to share your message. You actually have to get in front of people. You must be visible. You must be visible. And that was one of my biggest challenges when I started my business 15 years ago. Is I was very happy to be out there in my writing, behind my computer screen. That was easy for me. I had no problem about putting my words out there. I also had no problem putting my voice out there. That wasn't a problem either. But when it came to this, putting my image out there, the visual image, doing a video, it was like I would say I'm going to do it, and I would just never do it. And it took me a good 2 years to be willing to put myself on video. It felt so much more like, okay, now I'm really out there. There was just something really challenging for it. But you can't show up powerfully in your message if you don't show up. You have to show up, and you have to show up where people are that need your message. So that's the first thing. And that is how I actually learned how to powerfully share my message. And like I said, I'm still working on it. But let's get right into these 5 things. All right. So the first thing I learned is to show up powerfully, you want to share experiences that you've had. You see, sometimes we think like, oh, I've got to teach some stuff, right? And so we come up with this 5-step that and 7-step that. And that's great. It's wonderful to share tips. We should be sharing tips. But a more powerful way to share ideas and to share tips is through experiences that you've had. People are interested in people's stories. It's riveting to learn about someone else, how they failed, how they pulled themselves back up, and what they learned in the process. So sharing a story, sharing an experience, something you've gone through, is a powerful way to get across a message in a way that holds the attention of the listener and helps them relate to you, helps them feel like, oh, that's happened to me too. She sees me. I feel seen. And so maybe I can move through this as well. And I'll be honest with you, the vast majority of the stuff that I share, and it's been this way since day one, comes from my experiences and my lessons. First, when I was teaching around ideas with parenting and raising kids with positive self-esteem, I was teaching based on my experience with my son when I was a young mother. And, as we parents, if you're a parent, that our kids are teaching us every day. Every day, there are so many lessons to learn from our children. So that's how I shared a lot of the stuff that I taught. Now that I'm teaching about money, I'm sharing all of the experiences I had, the pitfalls and where I had successes. I'm sharing those experiences because there are so many rich lessons in there that help me and that I know can help you. So when it comes to your message, you want to share experiences, how you've lived through the message that you're sharing, the lesson that you're teaching. That is really, really, it's inspiring, it's motivating, and it helps someone feel heard and seen. So that's the first way to show up powerfully with your message. Now, way number 2 is to own yourself. Own yourself. And what this is about is it's really about your energy. It's about your confidence. It's about the energy that you exude when you're actually sharing your message in whatever way you're sharing it. It's the vibe you're putting out. It's the frequency you're putting out that will connect someone who needs what you've got and wants to learn more. It will connect them to you. It's kind of like a beacon, it's putting this radar out there, and it's searching for all other people that are on this same frequency. So if you're listening to this video right now, you're probably on a similar frequency to me. You've heard you've caught the radar and you've tuned in here, right? So how do you own yourself? And what do I mean by that? Because no matter what you put out of yourself in any way, shape, or form, there will be some people that will show up, right? There's always going to be people. So why does this piece matter? What I realized, and this was such a challenge for me to overcome, and it's actually one of the main reasons why I did not do video those couple of years when I knew I should have started, was because I, for a long time, have been like, I don't want to say deathly afraid, but pretty darn scared of what other people would think. I still wrestle with that before I hit send when I'm sending out an email to my community sometimes. I'm like, is this okay to send? What are people going to say? There is this dialogue that goes through most of our minds, right? When we're putting something important, something close to our heart out to the masses. It does sort of, you've got to dig deep to be able to hit that submit button or to hit that record button. It takes a lot of strength, a lot of resilience, because when you put yourself out there, you open yourself up to other people's thoughts and other people's opinions. And, for the most part, you'll get the positive. I mean, I get so much positive feedback. I mean, a ton of positive feedback. But there were, every once in a while, there's someone that comes in, like a troll. And if you are not owning yourself, that can throw you off your stool a little bit, right? That can shake your ground a little bit. And so the more you own yourself, the more powerfully you can deal with it, but also the I don't want to say the less it happens, because the more powerfully you own yourself, the more triggered people can get. And this is because at a certain base level, I believe we all want to fully feel confident and secure in who we are. And most people don't. Most people do not feel fully 100% secure in who they are. That's the area. If there's one thing you change to more powerfully own your message, it's probably this one. It's to really feel confident and really own yourself, really fully accept yourself and fully love yourself. And yes, it is an act of self-love to own yourself, to be your message, to get your message out there. That's an act of self-love because it's part of your purpose. If you've got a message in your heart, it is in your purpose to share it. If there are people you want to help in a certain way, that is part of your purpose. And a great way to love yourself is to allow that to happen, is to allow that part of you to come out. And to connect with people and help people requires that they see you. So owning yourself is a big way to really get yourself connected with the right people. All right, so way number 3 to powerfully own your message is to keep your focus on the listener. So as much as it's important for you to be really connected to yourself and really own yourself and feel confident and secure in who you are as you share your message, it's equally as important to keep your focus on the listener, the person that's receiving that message, not in a way to change your message or conform your message in any way for that person. But you definitely want to keep your focus on the listener and going to think of me and put it onto how is this helping another human being? I also learned this when I was in the corporate world, because one of the things that I was teaching, I was a corporate trainer in one of my iterations in the corporate world. I did a lot of different things over 22 years. But one of the last things I did is I was in the training department. And we were teaching people about the WIFM, WIIFM. Yeah, WIIFM, WIFM. And what the WIFM is the what's in it for me idea, which means that when you're sharing information with somebody that you're hoping to move, to motivate, to inspire, you want to keep in mind that they're listening to you from the perspective of what is in it for them. And so you want to have that perspective and hold that perspective within you as you share your message as to what would be in it for someone else. Why would someone else want to even spend 15 minutes of their time listening to this? What could they possibly gain from it? And speak from that perspective of what they could learn, of something they could uncover, of an aha that they could find from the message that would help them. So that's number 3, is keep your focus on the listener when you're sharing your message. And the number 4 way to powerfully show up and share your message is right along the same lines of what I was just sharing, is speak from your heart and not from your head. This has been a huge game changer for me. And it was some information that I actually got when I was in a coaching program several years ago. And one of the things we had to do was we had to stand up in front of the group and we had to present something related to what we do. And I remember doing my presentation and I felt pretty confident and I was putting it out there. And the coach said, she said, Jill, that was good. She said, but I can tell that you're totally in your head. You're thinking about how is this going to come across and how will this be heard? We do have a way of strategizing. You're in business and you're trying to make a living with your message and with your gifts. And that with that, the being able to make money with it piece, there's strategy involved in that, right? And so strategy is usually up here in the head. But when you're sharing your message, that's not strategy. That's heart. That comes from a different place within you. And so you want to remember that when out there sharing the message, as you do, you want to come from your heart. That is the time to 100% be in your heart when you're speaking, when you're sharing, when you're writing. When you're in your heart, it will be that much easier to own yourself because that's where your true self resides. And when you're in your heart, it'll be that much easier to keep the listener in mind when you're speaking, keeping your focus there. That all comes from the heart. So honing in on your heart space, breathing into your heart space before you get up and speak or before you write a piece and hit send will help you to come from the place you need to come from to get your message better heard by the right people, by the people who really need that message. And now the 5th way to powerfully show up and share your message is to remember your why. Remember your why. I mean, I speak from personal experience. How many times have I lost myself in my work? Now, and I don't mean that in a positive way, because losing yourself in work could be a good thing, right? If you love what you're doing. But what I'm saying is I would lose the plot a lot of times. And I would find myself falling into strategy again. Just full on strategy that I learned because I've been a really good student. I've signed up for many programs to help me over the years. And I take the whole program and I do it and I implement it. But when you're doing that, you can sometimes get lost in the what you're doing and lose the why you're doing it. And the why is also connected to your heart. The why does not exist up here. If you've got an analytical reason why you're doing what you're doing, it's not going to be as powerful if you don't tap into the heart reason why you're doing something. I mean, even starting the business, when I started my business, I was being pretty analytical, which is good, but it was when I tuned into my heart and tuned into what do I want people to really know about this? What could really help them? That doesn't exist in your head. I mean, yes, you'll take your lessons and you'll make them make sense so you can share them. And that is an intellectual process. But when you're sharing, when you're actually showing up and you're working with somebody and you're sharing a message, know why you are sharing that message. It will do a number of things. It will help you stay grounded in your purpose. It will help you stay grounded in who you are, because remember I said that's the heart, right? Your why exists in the heart as well. That's where your desire is. That's your why. That's who you are as a person in this life. And it keeps your focus on the listener, on the person that you're meant to help, because that's why we're doing it, right? I'm not doing this to do it. I'm doing this to help someone. I realized at a certain point in my corporate career that, and this was shortly before I left my corporate career, that if I were to look back on my life near the end of my life, and I had not tried to put myself out in terms of a business that could actually help a person, I would deeply regret it. I would regret that I never tried. I don't even care. I mean, I do care about success, but that's not the number one thing for me. The number one thing for me is going as deep as I can within myself and discovering what am I capable of? How can I help? Like, what can I actually give to this world? What can I do? And yes, being a parent is a huge gift to the world when you raise your child to go out and also give to the world, right? But for me, there's more than that, because at a certain point, your child is off and they're living their life, and you've given them all that you can give them. And yes, you're always there for them. But then there's, you've got hopefully many years left. And what are you going to do with your life? How do you want to give back? How do you want to make an impact in the world? How do you want people to remember you? What legacy do you want to leave in this world? And how will you feel good at the end of your life, knowing, what you did? Like, what is it going to take for you to feel, as you look back on your life, like, I really did something? And for me, I thought, even if I completely fall on my face and I'm completely not successful and I have to go back and get a job, at least I will be happy knowing I gave it my all. I put myself out there. I tried it, because I realized that if I don't try, I don't want to die wondering. No regrets. I want to live my life with no regrets. So remember your why before you get out there and share. Doing so can help you shake nerves off. If you're afraid to put yourself out there, if you're afraid what people will think, that is a way to help you shift off those fears and onto purpose. And it energizes you. It inspires you. When I get reconnected to my why, I get downloads, a lot more downloads than when I'm focusing in my head and trying to strategize things. Then the downloads aren't so flowing. But when I get back to my why am I really doing this? Who am I really here to help? What is really my message to share? When I'm connected to that, I'm so much more open to higher level information, and the downloads do flow. So that is the fifth way to show up powerfully with your message. To recap those, share experiences. Don't just stand up and teach. Share the experiences you've had in your life. People want to know you. They want to connect with you, and they want to feel seen and heard. Number 2 is own yourself. Be confident in who you are. Love yourself. Accept that you are the way you are, and do it anyways. Love yourself anyways. Be it anyways. Number 3, keep your focus on the listener. I mean, that's why you're doing it anyways, right? What do they want to hear? What do they need to hear? What needs to be shared so that they can be helped along in their journey? Number 4 is speak from your heart, not from your head. When you're sharing your message, you don't want to be analytical about it. You want to be connected with your heart and speaking from that place. And then finally, number 5 is remember your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you care about your message? Why is it important to get it out? And why now? So these are all important things to think about as you are putting yourself out there and sharing your powerful message. If you've been stuck for a while trying to figure out how to share your message, how to get your message out there, how to make more money in your business, and you need some help there, I have got just the thing to offer you. I'm doing a limited number of Make More Money Clarity calls right now. I do have a few more left before the end of the year, and I invite you to apply for one of those free session. It's completely complimentary. And what we'll do in that session is I'll learn a little bit more about what your big vision is. We'll talk about where you're getting stuck. What are some of those stumbling blocks that you're struggling to overcome? We'll look at where you want to go. And then I'll share with you, based on our discussion, what you need to move through it, based on my own experience with myself, as well as working with many, many clients over the past 15 years. So if this is something that you're interested in, I would recommend hopping in there now, grabbing a spot. As I said, I only have a few left. If you want to launch into 2023 in a powerful new way, then take advantage of this offer. You'll see a link down below to schedule that, or just go to ishinekids.com/moneyclarity.html. That's ishinekids.com/moneyclarity.html. And all the information will be there to get yourself set up for that session. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and please share this video with someone that you feel could use it today. Thanks. Bye for now.